people have a stake in this. Whatever happens across the world, young people have a stake in it, considering that we're the present and we're the future. So today I'm joined by Ndeko Mbadema, who's from the communications team at the OIC Secretariat, and she'll be telling us about the involvement of young people and just generally why the OIC conference. Young people constitute 60% of the Gambian population, and whatever you do and you leave them behind, be sure that you will not have a successful event or anything success related in any venture that you're getting into. And I'm sure that the OIC is putting this into consideration, because recently they just had this forum where they invited different leaders, and I saw the chairperson of the National Youth Council, the executive director rather of the National Youth Council, and he was reiterating, you know, the fact that the OIC really should concentrate on young people. And I've also seen young people involving here and there. But to better explain this to us, Ndeko Mbadema is here with us to better education in relation to that. Ndeko, you look really, really good.
Thank you. So do you.
Yeah, and I'm so happy that we are sharing this platform for the first time.
Thank you very much.
All right. And
it's a pleasure.
You know, the fact that looking at the OIC Secretariat's media team, you're all young people. So just that is a good thing. And obviously you will include young people in it automatically, because you're the ones leading the entire process. So generally, what is the importance of the Gambia hosting the OIC Summit, first of all?
Thank you very much, Zainab. And I'll start off from where you left off by acknowledging the fact that the Brand and Communication Department is really comprising of young people.
Right.
And generally at the Secretariat also, and especially women too, we have a good representation of youth and women at the OIC Secretariat, which is something that we are proud of. As you've said in the beginning, young people are a very important component of what constitutes the population of the Gambia, and their contribution obviously cannot be overemphasized.
Right.
So in terms of coming to the OIC and the importance of the OIC Summit, I think we have done a very rigorous job in terms of talking to the general public regarding what the OIC Summit is about, and also the benefits that the summit will have for the Gambia.
Right.
And our thinking at the level of the OIC Secretariat is not just this summit, but also pre-summit, during the summit, and also post-summit. And we have seen a number of countries benefit largely from hosting the OIC summit.
Right.
A case in point that everyone points to is Senegal, because you know they are the ones who have hosted it on behalf of the West African group, and now the Gambia, which is obviously a very huge feat, and we are so happy at the level of the Secretariat. So in terms of the importance of the OIC Summit, we know that the OIC is the second largest gathering of world leaders, only second to the United Nations. And if you look at the setup of the OIC, it has a membership of 57 countries. Right. And this summit that the Gambia is hosting is the biggest summit of the OIC, which happens every 3 years, just once in 3 years. And other summits happen, meetings during the year, obviously because it's an organization and there's a need to meet and discuss. But this one is the major summit reserved for heads of state and government. And we are so happy that the Gambia is in a position to host something of that magnitude.
Yeah, I think it's really a really nice feeling right now, just knowing that the Gambia will be hosting the OIC Summit, because there has been a lot of talk. People were just super excited about Gambia hosting it finally. So I like the atmosphere, the fact that the reality is now on ground, that it is fast approaching, and now that is also even another responsibility, the fact that we're already hosting it. So in this instant, what is the stake of young people in the whole process of hosting it itself?
Thank you very much. To speak on young people and the OIC is something that I'll be very happy to do, and I'm glad that you extended the invitation to us to also look at young people and their stake in what is the OIC Summit. So you've mentioned also that the executive director of the National Youth Council was at our national forum on the OIC. And in addition to him also, we had a good representation from a cross-section of the society, which I think is important to mention. we had representatives from the Christian Council, from the Muslim Council, from women groups, from youth groups, which was represented by the executive director, and we also had the paramount chief, Imam Ratib of Banjul. So it's quite a good opportunity for us at the OIC Secretariat, you know, to formally launch what would be a massive sensitization campaign to involve everyone, especially young people, when it comes to the summit, and also exactly taking what is theirs, because at the level of the Secretariat, we see the summit as the summit for the Gambian people, and we want everybody, especially young people, to take ownership of the summit. Now, we are working with the National Youth Council, and we have worked with them previously. The OIC has a youth branch, which is known as the ICYF, and I am so happy to mention that the executive director of the National Youth Council has been is a board member of the ICYF.
I've seen his activities, actually. Yes.
And one thing we have worked on previously is for Gambia to be the OIC Youth Capital. So every year, one country is selected to be the OIC Youth Capital.
Right.
And we are endeavoring to have the Gambia be the OIC Youth Capital, in addition to hosting the OIC
that
Summit.
Would be great.
And when any country is the OIC Youth Capital, a lot of youth activities around the OIC
happen,
and within the region all happens in that particular country.
Nice.
And I would think it's a great opportunity for Gambia to make a name for itself.
Right, right. That is amazing. The fact that, you know, there's a specific youth component to it,
Right.
and I've seen the executive director's activities around that. So that's a very good thing, and that now that we know. But also we've seen you also encouraging artists and influencers who are young people mainly,
Right.
apart from Uncle Jaliba Kuyata and few individuals that I've seen. Most of the people there are young, and the song, you know, I'm following Singata's Facebook page, and I already I see it building up. I'm even dancing already ahead of, you know, the official song being released and all of that. So was that a deliberate decision as well, to mobilize young people in the area of the art sector?
Yes, we recognize that musicians are also very important in distributing key messages, and their medium is very fast. Imagine you're already dancing to a song that is not done yet, and I'm sure quite a few people also enjoy what they see with the sneak peeks. So imagine when the actual song is done. And I think it's important that as a country we are able to rally everyone behind the OIC Summit and ensure that we are making, we are appealing to the public to take ownership of the summit. So the idea behind the theme song, and also involving especially young people, is to foster the principles of unity, which is also very much in line with the theme of the summit. So we were using them to help us spread the message of unity, one Gambia, and also preparedness and readiness 100% to host what is the second largest gathering of world leaders. And I think everyone should be excited, and we are seeing that excitement from the general public, which also excites us and also pushes us to do more to ensure that we are doing everything it takes to make Gambia proud. But in that endeavor, we need the support of everyone, young and old, but especially young people and women.
To come on board. So talking about the direct participation during the summit, is there a portal that young people specifically can go and register to attend the summit, or is it going to be delegates that are going to be selected from youth organizations to represent the entire young people of the Gambia? How is the actual participation of the summit really open to young people?
So for the level of the summit, I mentioned earlier is head of states and government summit. So in terms of representation, is the highest level of representation as far as the summit, but we're looking into young people's involvement during the summit. Because when heads of states, when leaders are meeting, the focus and theme of the meeting is on the leaders and what they're discussing at that point.
But
go
ahead.
In addition to that, we would like to explore other means that young people can be involved, and we've even discussed this. I think the NYC has suggested some ways that we could do this, and one of them is having a youth event prior to the main OIC summit, or also having a side event while the summit is going on. But in addition to that, also we are partnering with the GT board, GAIPA, to ensure that we are also giving young people and business owners the footing that they need during the summit, the kind of exposure that they would need. So we want to create what is known as a Gambia, some theme around promoting Gambia, and we want to work with the relevant stakeholders in that area to ensure that we are promoting products made in Gambia, what entrepreneurship in Gambia looks like, the businesses we have, and investment opportunities.
So is it like outside, is this going to be like outside of the OIC Center, where you will have stalls, for example?
Yes.
Existing Gambian-made product
yes,
stalls?
We're still working out the logistics of where we would have the tent, but it's a work in progress, and the ideas have been floated around on how best to achieve this.
Yeah, that would be really good, because obviously, whatever the case, tourism is also an aspect, because they're coming, they want to explore, you know, the traditions and cultures of the Gambia, and they will get to buy things. And
which is why on our website, the summit website, we have a portion for tourism, and this basically explores the tourism sites we have in the Gambia, what is available, and what they can do while they're here, and also our rich culture and food. All those are things that we are promoting on the website, in addition to also promoting investment opportunities. So we are working with all relevant stakeholders to ensure that this is an opportune moment for the Gambia, and that everyone is seizing the opportunity that it presents.
So aside from that, you talked about the fact that it's before the summit, during and after the summit. So the before aspect, we all know that the OIC comes with infrastructural development, especially the roads constructions, the bridges, and all of that. How is the involvement of young people when it comes to this employment opportunities? We all know young people go through irregular migration due to the fact that they do not have job opportunities. So summits as such are also expected. So the potential of young people was explored in that area?
Definitely. I think what the OIC has done in terms of all the projects, what we have done at the signing of the projects, or even at its conceptualization stage, is to ensure that even if you're an international organization, body, business, with the capacity, obviously, to deliver the projects, you are partnering with a local company here. So none of our projects is solely international or foreign based. Yes, so even in terms of capacity, we also know that projects of this magnitude capacity counts. So we ensure that they are working, every project has a local component where you're working with a local company. So in terms of the projects, this has created a lot of employment opportunities. We looked at Battle Harden. Imagine how many workers are on the Battle Harden. And then you look at the VVIP lounge, even the construction of the conference center, and all the other components of our projects really create a lot of opportunities, employment opportunities, and we are glad that young people are exploring it.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, this is off topic, but at the end of the day, how many even young people who are Gambians really took up the job? You know, sometimes we tend to want to choose what we want to do. I understand. We all want to be I'm not even where I want to be. I'm sure you want to go further in your life.
Definitely.
But sometimes, you know, you have to grab the opportunities. You know, you have to grab the opportunities that you have at that point in time. I'm not sure, I don't have the details, but a country like Senegal, for example, I know when the project probably was happening there, you'll see the amount of young people who will be willing to take the local jobs there with this, because obviously I know the population there is bigger, but they are more, you know, readily available to take on some of these things, judging by their activities in the Gambia. So I think generally young people should improve on that, embracing on opportunities, very rare opportunities like this, to ensure that, you know, we empower ourselves and just take up what is available, and later we will climb the ladder and eventually reach where we want to reach. Because for me, with the OIC, that was all along my concept, and I mean, Gambian youth were there, but I'm sure even our building here at QCell, you know, me, Ade will discuss it with us all the time. It's like, oh, these people are not Gambians, majority of them, because the Gambian young person does not want to take on this job, which is very unfortunate.
That's a very important point, Jainab. I think we have seen a lot of it manifested in different projects. However, I am happy that some of our projects, well, all the projects have a Gambian component to it.
Yes, side by side.
Yes,
and
Gambians are being employed in various capacities.
Yeah.
But one particular project to make mention of is the road construction in part of our 20 new roads, which is a road construction in Bruford. They had a lot of Gambians on that project, and surprisingly, a lot of young females.
I actually interviewed them. Yes, I did a story on it, and it was amazing.
And these were, you know, young girls in the construction field, and
yes.
something that we will typically think, you know, is
impossible,
a male joke,
yes,
and things like
yes.
that. But they were there, they embraced it, and
I
they were
saw
doing
that.
everything. And I think that was an
Amazing
interesting aspect and component to,
yeah.
you know, youth employment, but also seizing opportunities, like you have said.
Yeah, I was there, and I was really amazed, and thumbs
Very
up to
impressive.
it was really
Very
impressive, and thumbs up to the individual who was responsible, because it was like a deliberate policy, not imposed by the OIC,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So that is really good. The women were really involved. So that's the whole goal with summits like this, and I'm taking advantage. I also saw how young people participated during your cleaning exercise at the airport. It was all young people, so that was also good.
And they were volunteers.
Oh, they were just volunteering.
Volunteers.
Oh, nice,
yes.
amazing.
It pleases us at the level of the Secretariat to call for a national cleansing exercise.
Right.
Obviously, we have the stakeholders, we have the organizing committee, the task force, and all relevant people that would be in the exercise. But to see a lot of young people at their own volition come and join cleansing exercises as volunteers to help clean the country, I think is a very commendable, and that is something that we will encourage them to continue, because we want the environment to be clean. If guests start arriving in the country, we want them to see a very clean Gambia.
We want that.
Among everything else that we are doing, the cleanliness and the maintenance of cleanliness of the environment, our surrounding, and everywhere else, to leave a very good and lasting impression of the Gambia is very important, and we are very happy that young people are at the forefront of that, volunteering their time and energy to help us achieve this.
Yeah, I think that's a really good thing. When I saw them, I'm like, okay, maybe they learn or
maybe you just learn that.
But it's a good thing to know.
Volunteers, and it even makes it very noble. That, you know, on a Saturday, of all the things you can do as a young person, you choose to them airport and then clean Fufunonu. So it's very impressive.
It's a good thing. So aside from that, how about the stake of young people who are Christians? Okay, because I'm happy when I saw the advertisement, the bumper or the advert that you know the OIC has, because there you can see someone in a church. That really caught my attention. You know, I saw the person in a church, part of the video. So I'm like, okay, this is already signaling something. So young people who are Christians as well, you know, what is their stake in this? Because already with that video, you can see that there's something for them. You know, it's general. That's what it showed me. So what do you have to say in relation to
that? For
us,
we're not even segregating any segment of society, and we don't even want to reference the summit or the people involved around it in terms of religion, you know, ethnicity and things like that. It's a summit for the Gambia, and it belongs to the Gambian people, and we want everybody to take ownership of the summit and help us put our best foot forward as a country. So really, the summit is for everyone, and we have endeavored to ensure that we have sent out that message and we make everyone feel like this summit is ours. And I don't think there's even room for segregation as far as the summit is concerned.
Yeah, I think the video already makes it clear that, you know, everybody is involved, because at the end of the day, with the infrastructural projects, you know, your language, the political party that you belong to, who you are does not actually matter, because you're going to use the flyover, you will use the roads, you will use actually all the benefits that the OIC comes with. So I think that is very clear, that it's as diverse as possible, and people have to just generally embrace it that way. But I like the vibe already, you know, the fact that we're heading. During the AU summit, I was really young, okay, during the AU
I'm sure you don't remember anything about AU summit. Don't even go there.
Okay, I remember the AU summit a little bit with the...
Is it because you wore new shoes and went to march somewhere?
Something. I was involved as a kid.
You can only remember it in that capacity.
Yes, I was a kid, but also I can remember watching the houses that were built, the AU Villa.
Right.
I can remember the AU Villa and all of that. And we were all excited that there's something we're hosting in Gambia, and it's then big, you know. So now that I'm this old, and then I'm this old, and then we're hosting something this big, and I can actually be even involved or having this interview with you today, I think it's really an amazing thing, because apart from the the AU summit, I don't think we've hosted anything as big as this. Yes, we have not.
And going by the success that we've had with the AU
summit,
yes, with the AU summit,
yes.
I think after all these years, it is nice to kind of relive the AU summit, but also taking into realities that you know, the world has progressed.
Right.
It's been years.
Yeah.
There's so many other things to put in place.
Right.
So it's really an exciting time for, I want to believe, for everyone.
It's really exciting.
It should be.
Yeah,
should
it's
be.
really exciting.
Because this is the second time that the Gambia is hosting something this big.
Right.
And the OIC is actually bigger. So this is the first time ever. You're talking about 57 heads of state.
That's
so
a lot.
that is a huge feat for small Gambia to be able to host an event like this. And we might be small in size, but in no way, shape, and form are we small in our abilities and in our belief in self and country, and also always ensuring that we are putting our best foot forward.
Yes, and aside from that, before we leave, it's important that we also talk about capacity building, because the University of the Gambia also benefited from capacity building programs with protocol trainings for students studying international relations and diplomacy and beyond. So I think, you know, the fact that the capacity of individuals, especially young people specifically, have been built in several areas, I think that is also a wonderful thing.
Yes, we at the level of the Secretariat, we acknowledge that in order to host a summit, and the type of summit that we are aiming to host, we need to improve on the capacities that we have, and also help develop young people, and also create room for growth. As I'm speaking to you tomorrow, we are organizing a training for the media, and we are inviting almost all media houses to come and participate in the capacity building training. But in addition to that, you have mentioned the protocol training. We've had first aid training. We've had training for the security. I think security is one of the biggest beneficiaries in terms of capacity building for the OIC. Just recently, they have also just concluded another training. And they've had several of that, because we acknowledge that it's important to build the capacities that already exist to improve upon what we have, so that we are very much ready for a very memorable and successful OIC summit.
Amazing. So finally, you know, what else should we look for?
Already.
It's time already.
We should extend.
Yeah, we should.
Or invite me back.
Or invite you back before the actual summit.
Definitely.
You know, what else should we look forward to? Like I said, it's a fever already ongoing.
Right.
And Gambians at some point were so much looking forward to this. I mean, people will go online, this is not happening. So finally that is happening. We need to go back and look at social media again, and look at all the people who were crying that, you know, this was
was postponed.
Yes, I mean, but it was all for a good reason. They just wanted their country to host this, and it's happening finally.
And we understand where they're coming from. Yes, I think it's an exciting time for all of us, and also the Secretariat at the helm of this preparatory
must be overwhelming.
Effort. It is, but it's exciting at the same time.
Yes.
And because we have very committed people, such a vibrant cohort
team,
of people,
yeah.
team at the Secretariat. And we also have a lot of support. Our media subcommittee is actually headed by Tunkara. We have Ade on it. And since we have injected new life into the subcommittee and all the other subcommittees, we have seen, you know, it's shaping up nicely. There's great excitement in the air, and we're seeing that from the general public. And every time we see that level of excitement from the general public, all it tells us to do is we need to do more. We need to do more. We are, in terms of our preparatory efforts, we are where we need to be, but seeing the excitement from the people, their expectations, it pushes us to do more. And we are looking forward to hosting a very, very memorable summit for the Gambia. The success of OIC is the success of Gambia, and that is one thing we want to be re-echoed in the minds of every Gambian.
Exactly. Yes. But how about political parties, the opposition? Are you having a session with them? Because at the end of the day,
yes.
The thing is, it's a government project, OIC. It's
not a government project. No, it's a Gambian project.
Gambian project la. Why believe Gambian government moko ame? Why we all know when these things happen, because obviously the opposition, whatever the case, any opposition opposition because kutogut nekulo government opposition naturally. So just to make that clear, there's always that sort of eagle eye, you know, and that's what you're talking about, to eradicate, whereby there's nobody looking for us to fail, but coming together. But whatever the case, it's still there.
Yeah, I think as far as support, we have been receiving it from all segments of society, and we are also planning to do a series of sensitizations and meetings to ensure that we are involving everyone. The summit is ours, and that is exactly the message that we are pushing, and that is what we are working towards.
Okay. But are you involving them? Did you invite them for a session?
Well,
to say this is what we're doing, come on board?
Yes,
or
so
just generalizing things?
Yes. Firstly, what we started off with is the national dialogue that we had, where we focused on religious and community leaders.
Right.
That is the first phase of the sensitization. Yes. But we have many phases of the sensitization involving many different stakeholders coming up. Yes.
All right. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you so much, Ndaikumba, for coming on the program. It's really good to have you here.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the successful hosting of the OIC, and that you know, young people should really be involved, so that you can even use it as a form of a storytelling. Someday you can tell your kids, like myself, I can tell my children, I was here when the AU summit happened, and now the OIC summit. Although I can remember from the AU, you already threw shades.
We have given you enough memories for the OIC.
I should just forget about the AU summit.
We are compensating for what you missed.
For what I missed, right? But thank you so much, Ndaikumba, for joining us.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, so we'll just go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll have here Mariatu Ba. So Mariatu, at the time that she was on the show years ago, she was talking about the launching of her first book. She was actually the youngest individual to launch a book in the Gambia. And now, as old as she is, she's continued to write because she still has the inspiration. So she will join us here to tell us and just reflect on her journey. We'll be right back. Bye.
And that was good.
Yeah.
Celtel is giving you an unbeatable offer. Activate our 5G network on your 5G enabled phone and enjoy free internet for 7 days. Yes, you heard that right. Activate QCell's 5G on your phone and experience what true 5G internet feels like. Get your QCell SIM cards activated today at the following care centers: Banjul, Senegambia, Brikama, Bursubi Turntable, Bakau Airport, and Kairaba Avenue headquarters. Rush now and be part of the future with QCell's 5G. Free internet for 7 days only with QCell. For more information, call QCell Customer Care on 111. QCell Sunyubus. We innovate. Orders follow. Terms and conditions apply.
The future is now with QCell's 5G network. Experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G enabled device. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyapus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Gambia is proud to host the 15th OIC Summit on the 4th and 5th May 2024, the second largest gathering of world leaders, kings, presidents, rulers, prime ministers, along with delegates from 57 member countries of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation will gather in our beloved nation for this historic event. The theme of the summit is enhancing unity and solidarity through dialogue for sustainable development. It's a platform to foster cooperation, promote peace and drive sustainable development across the Ummah and the world at large. We call on all Gambians to unite and support the government as it strives to host a memorable and successful event. Let's showcase our hospitality, culture and the beauty of the Gambia to the world. Join us in making history. Let's stand together, united as one, to ensure the 15th OIC Summit in the Gambia is an event to remember. Together, we can make a difference.
Welcome back from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV Youth Dialogue, and I am Jenna Pasonko, and I'm now here with Maria Tuba. So Maria Tuba is an author. She was on this program years ago when she was really, really young. She couldn't even speak properly at a time, okay, when she came. That shows how old I am, and that shows how old this program is. And now Maria Tuba is a big girl sitting right in front of me. So if you were a keen follower of Youth Dialogue, you will remember when we just started, the little girl we hosted, and at a time we can arguably say that she's the youngest writer at a time when she launched her first book, and she's still finding the inspiration to write, and has written 2 new books, and she's about to launch them. One is The Scales of Venice, and the other is The Tears of Darkness. And Maria, thank you so much for joining me on the program. So when you were in the program years ago, what has changed in your life?
Thank you, Jaina, for having me today. When I was in the program last year, so many things changed.
It was not last year.
Oh.
It was years ago.
Yes.
Years ago.
5 years back.
Yes, 5 years back. It's been 5 years since you came here. That's a long time.
A lot changed.
Yeah.
I graduated from Carnifingis, and since then I have been writing.
You've been writing since then.
Yes.
So how, you've seen improvement in your writing?
A lot of improvement. So before, I need to go to people to help me do the editing and the typing and the like, but alhamdulillah, now I do it for myself.
Okay, so why are you continuing to write? What is motivating you? What is pushing you to continue to write still? Because I know I've invited a lot of writers on this show, and they've spoken to me about the numerous challenges in writing. So are you going through it too?
Yeah, I think everybody go through a lot of things.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm still writing is because I love it.
Yeah,
love
you like to
writing,
write.
and I'm not doing it for anything else. I'm doing it for the love I have. Because of writing. Yes.
All right, so it's just the love. So you're launching 2 books.
Yeah.
Talk to us about these 2. You're about to launch 2 books. Tell us about them.
Yeah. Inshallah, on the 27th of April, I'll be launching 2 books. The first one is Tears of Darkness, and the second one is Scales of Vengeance. Scales of Vengeance is about a mermaid, a fantasy love story.
Okay.
And then the Tears of Darkness, it's a story of 5 non-fictions in it. It's about what people in our society go through, the pain that they encounter, but due to mockery or certain things they go through from friends, they prefer keeping it to themselves, crying within themselves.
Like bullying kind of thing.
Yeah, so instead of telling people out there.
Okay, there's a lot of argument in the country currently when it comes to just generally writers. I mean, a lot of arguments here and there when it comes to writing. For example, there's a lot of writers in the country now. Every individual that you see is writing. So they're like, oh, is it up to standard? You know, the writing, the books that are being published. You know, a lot of questions are being asked, because I know when you started writing and now you've even noticed, you know, a surge in the number of writers in the country. And I mean, sometimes you must be amazed to ask yourself, oh, all these people are writing, but what they're writing, is it actually good enough? You know, there are a lot of questions around that. Yeah. So as an individual, how do you see that argument?
Yeah, that's right. As an individual, many people write, but I think loving what you do, it's one of the best things. Because when you write, no matter what people argue out there, you just do what you love doing, and you wouldn't mind what people say.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't mind what people say, but don't you think the writing has to be the proper writing? You know, I'm not a writer here, but you know, that argument is out there.
Yeah.
That to so many individuals, they're just writing for writing's sake. Some sort of mediocrity is not up to the standard where we will say, okay, this person maybe even competed in a writing competition internationally and won it, or their books are exported internationally. You know, so what are you doing to avoid, you know, that substandard when it comes to the books that you write?
You need to take your time in everything you do, okay? So I've read so many books. I've gone, in the Gambia here, I've read certain books. And when I read them, the moment I start first page, second, third, I have to stop.
Okay.
Because it doesn't motivate me. It becomes boring.
Okay.
That is because of the style of writing.
Okay.
Maybe, for me, what I say is they don't take your time. I would always say, if you take your time, you might have something better than this.
Okay.
They have the knowledge, they have the skill, they have the talent, but taking your time is always one of the best things. Writing is not easy. It's true you can write. When you have your first script, you go through it, don't be in a rush, and when you are done, go to people that are better than you. Let them go through it and tell you what they think about this. So right now what I'm going through is, I find it so difficult to have people to go through my work. For now, I have almost 4 people that went through it. I have 2 of my mentors that went through my work, but still I want others that I know they're better than me in this thing that I'm doing to go through my work and approve it, tell me that, of course, now this thing is suitable for publication outside, because it's out there for to educate others.
Educate others. So apart from writing, you know, what should we look forward to the next time that you come on here? Maybe university, what do you hope to study and all of that?
Yeah, I hope to study environment.
Reason?
Because I love the environment.
Okay.
Yeah. Normally when I see people littering around, I feel something in me. I feel like always, this is not supposed to be like this. I want to prevent it, but I don't know how. But I guess if I study environment, I might have so many ways. I might have the knowledge of preventing those kind of things.
Okay. So you think it's a leadership problem? Because we have the National Environment Agency that is responsible to implement the anti-littering law. So do you think it's a leadership problem? That is why you want to go and study to take on those roles?
I guess, yes. I guess if they've been doing enough, we wouldn't be facing all those kind of challenges of littering anyhow you feel like in the country.
Yeah. Do you know that currently the current Minister for Environment is Rohi John Manjang, and she's a very driven woman. I can tell you this. She's an amazing woman, and she's doing so well as minister. So hopefully, you know, you can reach out to her and she'll be able to mentor you. She's doing so well as the Minister of Environment, Auntie Rohi John Manjang. So it's good that, you know, you're being inspired as a woman when a woman is already there. So final words, please, about the launching.
Okay, the launching, inshallah, it's going to be at Baobab VIP Hall, 27th of April, 2024. So I'm calling out all the people out there to come and support us on what we are doing.
All right, thank you so much for joining me on the show, and good luck. You've grown, girl. Look at you.
Look at you too.
Look at me too. I've grown, right?
Yes, bigger.
Bigger. Okay, bigger. Everybody's growing, but it's a good thing to see you here.
Okay.
From that and who you are now, and I'm looking forward to, you know, the amazing things you will achieve ahead of time.
I really want to be like you one day.
You will pass me, girl. I want to be like somebody out there too. I feel like I'm not where I want to be, and you want to be me. So that is how life is, and eventually you will even be more than Jane Abasonko, and I see the spirit in you.
Inshallah.
All right. Just have that positive stubbornness. It helps sometimes. So 2 weeks come your way next week with another interesting program. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you staying with us.